Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to my May front garden tour. I have to say I've been so excited to show you all this garden tour because I've been bragging and telling everybody who will listen to me that my garden has never looked this good. We are in our third year, which is of course the leap year, sleep, creep, leap, and really everything is just taking off. Everything's looking so beautiful. A lot of the structural plants that we had planted initially are looking absolutely gorgeous, and I was so excited to film this tour for you all. And I feel like Mother Nature heard me talking and went, oh wait, hold on, let me bring you back down to earth and let me make sure that you don't brag too much, because Mother Nature is of course still in charge. And as we can see, we have a giant hole in our fence right now. So for the past 2 days, we have had major wind, a major windstorm. I live in California and we have major fire risk and all that kind of stuff. And so it was really dry wind and very intense wind, gusts up to 40 miles per hour. And of course, we lost part of our fence, which we've lost part of this fence before. It's a really old fence that we need to replace. Now, there are goats next door. This is a goat farm. And thank goodness for our neighbors putting up this extra goat fence right here, because it keeps the goats from knocking against this fence, because it would knock it over. But then also when something like this happens, the goats don't come into our yard. Thank goodness. So actually somebody is coming in just about an hour to fix the fence and hopefully take care of the issue. But I just thought it was so funny. I was so ready to film a whole tour and brag about how good my garden was looking. and then this happened and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Brought me right back down, right back down to where I need to be. So anyway, let me show you the rest that's going on in my May garden, because it really is still looking beautiful. There's a couple things, like I can see my crepe myrtle right there. That's kind of leaning over a little bit. You know, the wind definitely made a bit of a mess, but overall, 99% the rest of my garden is looking fantastic. So funny enough, the fence fell over exactly where I've been working all week. And just the other day before the winds started, myself and two other gentlemen, we transplanted a whole bunch of this yardline viburnum. You can kind of see the ones that we transplanted are in a little bit of a shock, but I think that they'll bounce back no problem. And then we did plant some podocarpus over here as well. And as you can see, there's one podocarpus that got knocked over. It's not broken or anything. It's just leaning over and needs to be staked up. And then the smoke bush got completely smashed by, this is Winecraft black smoke bush. I think it's still alive, but I think there's a lot of broken branches over here. So we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm not going to really assess the damage just yet, because when they come and they replace the fence, I'm sure there's going to be more damage. And so I'm trying not to get too upset about it. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. I've been waiting all day to get out here and to film a garden tour because the wind has just been so terrible, so terrible. So anyway, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. All right, so let me show you this area. I know this is a really random area to show you, but I just think it's so beautiful. So this is the pathway that goes into the orchard garden. And over here is my pink profusion salvia, and then I do have some sweet romance lavender on either side. But if you all remember, I did purchase a boulder that we could not move. And finally, Jason and I were able to move it into this spot using a pot mover that we had rented to move some of the Haddonstone pots. And so we were able to move this rock here. And now I have this kind of purple from the lavender, the pink profusion salvia, the fig tree behind it, and then the plain blue salvia over here. And I just think this whole area is just so bright and colorful and beautiful. And I just love it. And I want to repeat it over here once we get this area all working. But for now, I'm just going to kind of focus on this area. That looks really good, right? And then coming over here, I had planted up this area a couple weeks ago and planted it up with some saffron finch. Supertunia, and then also some super bells. And I have to say, the super bells are not doing very good in the ground. They're just, I mean, honestly, nothing over here is doing really well. And I'm not totally sure why. I thought at first that I had budworms, but I don't think it's budworms. It's just in general, the plants aren't doing very good in this spot. And I'm not totally sure why, so I have to kind of mess with it. Maybe I need to fertilize it a little bit more, check the watering, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of troubleshoot what's going on, because I feel like the plant should be a lot more full and a lot happier. The wind kind of knocked over some of the plain the blue salvia over here, so I might have to come in and cut some of it back. And then let me bring you over here behind the fig tree. So behind the fig tree, I also worked in this area, and this is where I planted the tater tot Thuyas right here. Aren't those so cute, just like that? And I planted 3 more over here, and I have some black mondo grass. I have some more plain the blue salvia. And I wanted to show you this. This is kind of what the wind did, is just kind of knock everything over. But the cool thing about this plain the blue salvia is you can just chop it off basically, and it'll flush back up really, really quickly. So now I'm going to have to get back here and I'm going to have to cut all this. But that's how intense the wind was. The wind was absolutely crazy. And this was all upright and looking so beautiful right before I was going to film the garden tour. I wish I had done it 2 days ago before the wind came, but then I figure this is actually what it looks like right here, right now in May. So it's good to show you guys. I do have a white salvia leucantha that I absolutely love right there. And then the 2 guys and I did plant this podocarpus right here. And that stayed up. That was perfectly safe from the wind. So I'm happy about that. As was my chiclet orange Tacoma and the, denim and lace Russian sage. Isn't this just pretty? This is the first grouping of plants that I planted in my garden. So this is its 3rd year, and you can see how good it's all looking. It's just looking absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Then coming over here, I do have my Verbena de la Mina, and it's on my list to get in here and severely chop this thing back, because as you can see, it's covering 3/4 of my pathway. It's just growing way, way, way too big. And so I need to come in here. I've never pruned this plant. I've never touched this plant. So I got to come in here and I got to chop it all the way back and see how it does, kind of flushing back a little bit. I did that to the pomegranate last year, I think, and it flushed back and it looks so much better. It looks really, really good. But I do need to come in and get the suckers off of the pomegranate. This pomegranate, it gets so many suckers because it wants to grow into a bush, but I want it to be in a tree. And I've even used the sucker punch on these suckers, and it's still growing more suckers. So it just is part of it. As you can see, the wind knocked all the last bits of oranges off the orange trees. So we're going to have to come out here and grab all of those. And then over here, this is just looking so, look how pretty this looks. Isn't this just gorgeous? Oh, I just love it, love it, love it. So first off, I have this yarrow. This is the fuchsia yarrow. Really pretty. I'm really enjoying this plant. But even more, of course, is the raspberry superbena. This plant is so gorgeous when it's all in full bloom, and then you pair that with the yellow of the Calilophus or the Oenthera. Now it's called Oenthera, and then the plain blue salvia. To me, this is just such a beautiful, bright, intense, colorful show. And all of these are perennials. They were all here last year, right? And they all came back, and they all just, to me, just absolutely look beautiful. A new thing I did plant is I did plant the Senorita Rosalita Cleome right here, or a spider plant. And I have to say, it's looking pretty good. I got to show you guys from this side, because I planted the Medusa Black in front of it, and I really like the Medusa Black in front of it. I think the Medusa Black gives it kind of a depth, because the foliage on the Cleome is kind of just like a basic green, like nothing really interesting, and so the Medusa Black really gives it some really, really great interest. So I'm liking that a lot. And then I did want to show you all in here, I transplanted all this lamium and these hostas from my window boxes that I have in my secret garden, and they are thriving. They are so, so happy back here. And I'm so happy. I found one of the hostas, but I had lost the other hosta, that one. Obviously, I still had the roots, so that's great. But I just think that this is really pretty, and it's under the shade of this orange tree. And I just think they're going to be really, really happy right there. As is my oak leaf hydrangea. This is Gatsby Gal, I want to say. Gatsby Gal oak leaf hydrangea. Really, really beautiful. I am so happy with how this thing is looking. Now, this is actually my second one here because the first one, the roots got eaten by the gophers that were here. And so I planted a second one and I used a gopher cage. And you can see so far it's looking okay. Like, I don't think the roots were eaten or anything, but oh, it's just so pretty. I love this plant. I wish it would stay up. I'm going to have to like stake it up or something like that because there's some really pretty blooms down here that I wish were up a little bit. I'm going to have to stake this podocarpus. I can see the wind knocked that one a little bit as well. Okay, and then coming this way, you can see my Surefire Rose Begonia that's looking gorgeous. One thing I have to say I don't really like is the lemon panicum. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now. I never talk about this plant because I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think it's very pretty. I cut one back and I left the other one. To me, it just kind of flops a little too much. And honestly, it might just be in the wrong place. This might get a little too much shade for it. It might need some more sun. But I'm just not a huge fan of it, which is funny because I love the Niagara Falls panicum. I love the totem pole. I love the purple fountain grass. Oh, that tree looks like it's falling over too. Look at that. Oh, Jason and I are going to have to get out here and fix all these stakes. So anyway, this lemon, I think it's called lemon squeeze fountain grass. Just not my favorite grass. And usually I love the grasses that they have. And this one's just not really my favorite. I love the Kniphofia. This is the hot and cold Pyromania Kniphofia. So beautiful. I love it so much. I just love Kniphofia. I think it is so interesting, especially when you put this bold texture, right? These really intense, bloom stalks next to something that's a little bit softer in texture, like the denim and lace Russian sage, or even these right next to the Surefire Rose Begonia. I just love this difference in texture. I think it just adds so much and it's really pretty. And it's something that if you think something is missing in your garden, consider something like a Kniphofia because it really makes a huge difference. I'll show you guys this over here. You can see this is more of the hot and cold. And then we have the Plain the Blue Salvia and then the Miss Molly butterfly bush. Do you see how good everything's looking? Oh, it's just looking absolutely gorgeous. I am in love with it. Sadie just came home from school and told me what she had to do today. What did you have to do today, my dear?
I had to dissect a frog.
And how was that?
Not fun.
Did you just love it? Was it the most interesting thing?
Yeah.
I thought you had to dissect a worm.
And a frog.
Oh, and both. Your science teacher is hardcore. All right. Anyway, so let me show you from this angle. You can kind of see the Kniphofia poking through, but hopefully you all can see just that color. I just think adds so much to the area. I just love this. I just think this area is so pretty. So pretty. One thing I will say is I do have heuchera right here. I transplanted all this heuchera from my secret shade garden, and some of it came back and a couple of them just said, nope, no way. That one, and that one. And I don't know which variety. I'm sure I can figure out which variety it was. It was a green, like more of a greenish color one, but it's funny that one did not come back. So I'm going to have to fill something else in. But the other ones did come back. So there's that. And then I have my broken terracotta with all my succulents, and those guys are looking really good. These are not hooked up to drip, but I do come maybe like once a week and water them ish. Maybe sometimes I forget and it's once every other week. But they seem to be doing okay. They seem to be doing happy enough, but we'll see once it gets to the really hot time of year if they can handle being in the sun and all that kind of stuff. I always have a little bit of a tough time with succulents because I think they need more shade like not as intense sun as we have here in my garden. Then we have the mound here, and I showed you all this in, I think, yesterday's video, but I did prune up my lavender twist redbud. I think it looks so good, all pruned up, and I'm hoping that having it pruned so that there's more airflow throughout it, it will stop itself from getting the cercospora or cercospora. It's a fungus that redbuds sometimes get. So I'm hoping that that helps it. And then over here, I have my Lebanon blue cedar, angel wings, blue angel cedar from Isley. It's just so beautiful. It's just such a pretty, pretty plant. I absolutely love it. And then back here, you can see it's just about time. Well, you can't really see. There we go. It's just about time to cut back my star jasmine espalier. In May is when we have the beautiful blooms, and the scent of it is so lovely, and I still have some more blooms. We had a very warm year this year, warm spring, and so it actually was blooming in April, which I was really, really surprised. It's been nice. We've had a solid 5 or 6 weeks of blooms, but it's just about the point now. This is the time that I would cut it back and prune it way back, just so that I can see the form and kind of neaten everything up, make everything look nice and neat. You can see kind of up here, it starts getting a little bit crazy, but I don't want to prune it while there's flower buds on it, because, you know, that's why you plant star jasmine, is so that you have these beautiful flower buds on it. So now this is a job that I need to do, and it's not a fun job because there is a sticky sap that that star jasmine has in the stems. You can see that sticky sap right there, and it gets all over you. And some people get really irritated with the sticky sap. Their skin gets irritated. So, you know, you might have to wear long sleeves or something like that. It doesn't really bother me. It's not irritating to me. It's just very sticky. It's the only thing that's irritating. So it's not the cleanest job, but to me, it's totally worth it, because this is one of my favorite things about my garden is my espalier. All right, then coming over to the front porch, I just noticed I got a delivery. The delivery guys are so funny because they will put packages all over the property. I've gotten some on the gazebo, some by the front door, some by the gate, some by the garage door around the corner, sometimes over here. Like, you kind of have to just search for the packages. One time I got them in front of my office in the back, if you can believe it. So it's so funny. And honestly, I can't blame them because the front of our house is kind of confusing. We have a couple doors. We have 1, 2, 3 doors in the front of our house. Plus we have the back. I think it's just confusing for the delivery drivers. So anyway, long story short, I just noticed I have a package. This is actually from HoseLink. I can tell it's from HoseLink. And I got 3 of their pop-up garden bags, which I love. I have just completely lost my other garden bags. And so I decided I wanted to replace them with the HoseLink ones, which I really, really like them. So I'm glad that that's here. Let me show you guys my hanging baskets. They're looking so good. I have yet to plant the Diamond Frost Euphorbia in them. I was planning to plant Diamond Frost Euphorbia, but I think it's okay because I think I'm going to come in here and I'm going to trim back the Supertunias so that the Angelonia has a little bit more space, and then I can tuck in some of the Diamond Frost Euphorbias. Oh, that was a wasp. That's not good. Anyway, so I think I'm going to cut back the Supertunias a little bit sooner than I normally would, just so that the other things can grow as well. But I have to say, I've been loving the all white hanging baskets. I think they look so, so pretty, and I'm trying to enjoy them for as long as I possibly can, because I don't think we're going to have this pergola next year. I'm not totally sure. I have no idea, but I know we do want to remove this pergola eventually. Then we have the zigzag planter over here, and I love this combination of the zigzag planter, and I feel like the shadows are making it hard for you all to see, but you can see it's the Supertunia Saffron Finch, Diamond Frost Euphorbia, and then Sparkling Amethyst Superbena, and then I have the totem pole grasses in between, and then I have the, this is Fragrant Delight Heliotrope, and the combination is so pretty. I love it. I just love this purple and yellow combination. I think it is so gorgeous, and it's not even all filled in, but I can already tell that this is going to be a really good year for the zigzag planter. Possibly the last year. I'm not we're not totally sure yet, but it could possibly be the last year for the zigzag planter. So again, I'm going to enjoy it while I have it, but I just love this combination. I just think it is really, really pretty, and it's just filling in so nicely. And I always say to people, save one spot in your garden. Like at my last garden, it was my front swoop. This garden is the zigzag planter. But basically save one spot that you can switch out with annuals every year. And it's your big annual show every year. And it just is so fun to every year just being able to switch it out a little bit, because you can kind of change the color story and the theme and all that kind of stuff. And I just enjoy it so much. I have so much fun with it every year and thinking about what I'm going to do the next year and all that kind of stuff. So it just ends up being a really fun thing. So if you have something like that, a spot in your house, in your garden that can be your annuals area, keep it as your annuals area. Don't be tempted to plant perennials, even though yes, it's easier. It's so fun to be able to switch it up every year. I just love it. Now coming over here to my gazebo, I have to say most of this area is looking absolutely fabulous. The two things that I'm not liking this year are these containers. These have the purple fountain grass, and then I planted this double grapefruit calibrachoa next to it. And I did cut them back because they were really leggy, but they are just sitting here. Like I would have expected them to flush back, and I do have a couple buds, so I'm going to be really patient with them and not rip them out. But I am just not happy with the, I don't like how this looks at all. I don't think it looks good. I think I need something brighter there. But I'm going to be patient. I'm saying this out loud. I'm saying this to you guys. I'm not going to pull this out and replace it with other things because I'm going to give it time to kind of flush back a little bit. But I am not happy with them. I think I could do so much better with something else. Like if you look at here, I have the Supertunia Vista Fuchsia, and that's gorgeous. And that would be beautiful right here instead of these super bells. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to be patient. So I have the Supertunia Vista Fuchsia. I have the Lemon Tart Lantana behind it. I have the Meteor Shower Verbena. I have the El Nino Chitalpa. This is so beautiful. It's funny. My local garden center is called Green Acres. You guys have probably heard me talk about Green Acres before, but they are selling this El Nino Chitalpa in a 3-gallon pot, and it looks very small. And they asked me if I could do like an Instagram video to promote this plant, because they actually have it like on, they call it a hot buy this week, where they sell them, like they put them on sale. And we're doing a video, I think we're going to film it tomorrow, of me holding the can, the plant pot, and then standing next to these and just showing what a difference 1 year can make. Because this year, this plant I planted 1 year ago, like exactly 1 year ago, I think I even planted it from like a 1-gallon pot or something like that. It was not big at all. So anyway, that will be really fun to film that. I think, like I said, I think he's coming tomorrow so we can film that. The meadow needs to be cut back. This meadow is a no-mow California native grass meadow. It does have some weeds, so let's just not look too close at that. But I decided not to cut it back until after the construction workers came to install the sculpture that's going to go right over here by the Rising Sun Redbud. I have the sculptures. They're actually coming tomorrow morning, I think at like 7 a.m. And one of them's going to go right there. So this is going to get completely smashed, even more than it already is. And then I'll come in with the weed whacker and cut it back to about 4 inches. And then it'll flush back in like a week. It's really cool how it does it. But I did want to show you all this no-mow, like it's called a no-mow meadow. But you do still kind of have to mow it every once in a while if you want that nice flowy look, because once it gets too long, it starts flopping over and it's almost too heavy. And then if you have a dog like Monty that like rubs himself and like rolls around on it, then it flattens out even more. So I would say about maybe 2 months ago, we cut it back to 4 inches and it filled back in, and now we're going to do it again. So probably 4 times a year, I would say you have to cut back your lawn, which is so much better than a regular lawn that you have to cut once a week or so. But this isn't, when you call it a no-mow meadow, that's kind of a misnomer. Misnomer? Yeah. to me, it's misnamed because you do still have to mow it just a little bit. Okay, and then cutting through the no-mow meadow, I just have to point out probably one of my favorite new plants that I planted in my garden. I know I've told you all about this a million times, but I'm going to say it again because I love it. These Sunjoy Fast Neo. Sunjoy Fast Neo Barberries. The color on these plants are so incredible. This is another one, just like the Kniphofia. If you feel like something is missing in your garden, consider getting these. And I know they're technically red, and not a lot of people like red in their garden, but there's just something about the color of these plants that I just think gives so much depth and interest to this garden bed. And I want them. I have them in another place over in my side garden that I'll show you guys in my back garden tour. But every time I see these in the garden, I just look at them and go, yep, that's exactly what that spot needed. There's a lot of green. There's a lot of, you know, like foliage color, all that kind of stuff. And then having this pop of red foliage just makes all the difference in the world. And these guys are going to get big. I think they're going to get about 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So it's definitely going to fill in this area. But I just have to say, I just think they're so great. They're really, really good. And this is one of those shrubs. There's a lot of perennials and shrubs that are only hardy. Proven Winners says they're only hardy up to zone 8. But in California, we have very dry heat. And so a lot of things that are only rated up to zone 8 actually do really well for us here. And so these guys, I've seen them grow. I've seen them grown around here so many times. And so I am technically a zone 9B, but I think these guys are going to be perfectly fine. And then over by Mr. Monty, I had cleaned up this whole area over here. I don't know if you guys can see that with the sun, but we do have the green wave Atlas cedar over here that's looking absolutely gorgeous. More of that lemon tart lantana behind it. Truffula pink gomphrena that's going to fill in and look really, really gorgeous. My Martha Washington geraniums are still looking really good. And those were from cuttings, by the way. Oh my gosh, did this tree get knocked over? Hold on, please. It did. Oh, sad. Gosh, that wind was really, really bad last night. That was just horrible. Now, again, it's really hard to see that. It's hard to see broken branches on your trees that were looking so good just a couple days ago. Fence getting knocked over. Other tree, some of my podocarpus got knocked over in the back garden. It's really, really hard to see that. But I think it's important to show it and just to talk about it, because this is like, I don't know, I have to remind myself, this is what gardening is. Gardening is never finished, right? My friend Michael always says that. Gardening's never finished. And this is just Mother Nature's way of reminding us that gardening is never finished, right? Like there's always something that has to come up and has to kind of mess with it a little bit, and you just have to learn to go with it. And that's what's great about gardening. I'm trying to put a positive spin on this, as you guys, I'm sure, can very much tell. Is it working? Am I putting a positive spin on this windstorm? I don't know. All right, back to the tour. So things are looking good over here. We've got some annuals that are filling in, looking really great. What? Oh, lizard. Just a lizard. I think I've said this before in a video before, but if you guys ever see something running across, it scared some people and they thought that it was a mouse, but we have tons and tons of lizards here, which is a great thing because the lizards eat the bugs and all that kind of stuff. But they're not mice. They are lizards for sure. My cardoon completely fell over at the windstorm as well, which, you know, it kind of was cut back when the guys came. We got our driveway refinished. I don't know if you all saw that video, but this past month we got our driveway refinished. Completely looks 1,000% better getting that done. That was a huge difference, but they did have to cut back a lot of plants, and my cardoon was one of them. So sadly, I think I'm gonna have to come in here and cut it all back, which means I don't get to enjoy the beautiful blooms that come with this cardoon. The blooms are very similar to artichoke blooms. They're just a little bit smaller. And I was trying to leave it because I wanted to see the blooms, but it's looking really bad now. So I'll have to come in and I will have to cut that back. Here's my other El Nino Chitalpa. This one is 2 years old. This one is gorgeous, probably about 15 feet tall, absolutely beautiful. It had way more blooms 2 days ago, but it's okay. It'll keep blooming. It'll be pretty. It'll be gorgeous. I don't see any broken branches, so that's a positive. That's a good thing. And then underneath it, I planted Breath of Heaven, Coleonema. I do have my bougainvillea. This is the variegated orange bougainvillea from Proven Winners. And I love this plant because this plant stays this size. It's not going to get any bigger than this, which if you guys know bougainvillea or bougainvillea, whatever you want to say, they get really, really big. And it's almost too much, really, sometimes. And so just having a small one, it's called the Bambino series, it's going to stay this small. And it's about to flush out and bloom and be absolutely gorgeous. And I just love that plant. Then I do have some Pugster Blue Buddleia right here, and it's about to go nuts. Like, can you guys see all the blooms, the buds on here? So I just wanted to show you guys this because these guys are looking really, really good this year, and I think it's going to be quite a gorgeous show. And then underneath that, I have one of my absolute favorite plants, which is Helen von Stein lamb's ear, and these were all cuttings as well. Coming up the path here, I do have this yellow calla lily that I actually had planted here when this whole area was my flower field, and I had rows and rows and rows of cut flowers over here, if you guys remember that. Monty, can you get out of my garden beds? It's like as soon as I turn on the camera, he just stomps through all my flowers. It's just so funny. Anyway, so this calla lily, this is actually a Proven Winners bulb calla lily. I planted it here, and I thought I had dug it out and gotten rid of it, but as you can see, no, and it's completely taken over the Shasta daisy. This is the spun silk Shasta daisy right here. And you know, it's survival of the fittest, right? Like, it's just going to be happy there, I think. So I think it's really pretty with the denim and lace Russian sage behind it. And then I actually planted some more lemon tart lantana, and I think that that's going to be really gorgeous. This needs to be divided because it keeps splitting, as you can see. But I like the yellow and purple right here. I think that that's really gorgeous. I think I'm going to continue that. Then coming over here, I have more of the lantana, more of the Augusta lavender heliotrope, the raspberry superbena, the denim and lace Russian sage. Isn't this looking good? I really like the layering that's going on in my center island. I just think it's looking really beautiful. I will talk about my bench. This was a bench that I found for free on the side of the road. There was actually 2 of them, and I tried my hardest to fit 2 in the back of my car, and I could only fit 1, but that's okay. I have to say I really like it in the spot, and I was going back and forth on whether to do, because I have some Haddonstone benches, on whether to use a Haddonstone bench there or leave this free side of the road bench, and I think I'm going to leave the free bench there, at least for now. I'm going to reserve the right to move it and to put the Haddonstone cast stone bench there, but I like the back on it, and I like that it's black and it mimics the black of the gazebo. I think it looks really pretty, and I just cannot get over the fact that I found that for free. Like, why would you give 2 of those away? I should have drove back and picked up the second one. And then over here on the left side of the pathway, I have my Weeping Atlas cedar and another El Nino catalpa. I have my orange blaze Kniphofia and more of the Augusta lavender heliotrope. On these garden tours, I try really hard not to just point and tell you guys the names of the plants, but actually tell you something a little bit about the plants. But sometimes I don't have much to say. I will tell you about this plant here. This is a Chinese fringe flower, Lorpedlum, and I have to say, I love this plant. I love this plant. It's such a good plant. And don't look at this one and get discouraged, because honestly, the only reason why I think it's not thriving in my garden here, this garden right here, is because we're on well water and my well has a ton of boron in it. So I can't grow gardenias. I can't grow lorpedlum. I can't grow camellias really well. And it's so funny because my old house is just 15 minutes away from here, and we were on city water at that house, and I could grow all of those things. I had huge lorpedlum in the front of my garden, and it was absolutely beautiful. And you can see what's happening to this one. It's just dying branch by branch. And so I just need to stop trying with it. It's just not going to happen for me, unfortunately. And yes, I could come in and I could amend the soil. When you have boron, you want to use sulfur or an acidic something to counteract the boron. But it's the whole right plant, right place thing. This is obviously not the right plant for this garden. So it's kind of just not worth it to try because, I shouldn't say that. For some people, it might be worth it to try. For me, I'd rather just choose another plant that was happier and that I didn't have to try so hard to even get to just survive, let alone thrive. So then coming over here to this side of the center island, this is looking really beautiful as well. I do have my red geraniums or pelargoniums here, and then these are actually pink lavender, which I just found at the store on a whim, and they're in their second flush of the year, and they're really, really pretty. I do like them, although the look that I was thinking of for this garden bed, it was inspired by the landscape designer Christopher Lloyd, who does all these crazy color combinations, and I think I wanted more pink, like more of a pink look to contrast with the red. So I'm thinking about throwing in some Super Petunia Vista bubblegum in here. I still want to keep the pink lavender because I think they're really pretty, but I think I might move these three somewhere else and then put in some of the Super Petunia Vista bubblegum, because that's kind of the color that I was imagining up against these red geraniums. So that might be something that I'm going to have to do pretty soon. Let me bring you all over here to the willow tree. This is probably the last time you're going to see this willow tree without a season's sculpture right there. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. I did prune this willow tree a couple days ago, and I think it looks so good. So good pruned. I'm really excited about it. And I was talking to my friend Raphael from Park Winners. He's such a good tree pruner, and he's going to come one day and we're going to just go through and we're really going to nitpicky prune all my trees. And I'm really excited about it because just a little bit of work on this willow tree, it made such a huge difference. In front of the willow tree, I have my trial garden bed, which is this raised area that eventually will come out. I'm not going to keep this raised area, but for now it's fun because I'm using it as a trial bed for different plants that I've never grown before. And it's been really, really fun because it's kind of fun to see how some of these plants are doing. One, with the wind. Two, we're starting to get a lot hotter, so it's interesting to see how these plants are doing. For instance, this Nemesia and this Lobelia, I am shocked that it's still doing okay. Like, we got up to 85 degrees today. We had a couple days of 90 degrees last week, and they're still in bloom. They're still blooming. And I kind of assumed both of these plants like a little bit cooler weather. They don't like the heat as much. And so I thought that they would absolutely fry by May, which is why I've never really planted them. But that's the point of having a trial garden bed, is to see exactly how they do. And if they do fry, it's not the end of the world because it's just your trial garden bed. So anyway, I am pleasantly surprised to see how good these guys are doing. It's full sun. We'll see how they do as things get a little bit hotter, but I'm happy to report they're all looking good. I did lose one of the lobelia, but I think this is like a watering issue because when I stick my finger in there, it's really, really dry. So I don't think this one counts, but all the rest of them look really, really good. And then I have my three different varieties of Nemesia. This is Cat's Meow. This is Lemon Perfection. And this is, oh my gosh, I don't remember. I left the tag. Catwalk Queen. That's right. Catwalk Queen. So they're all looking good. I think probably my favorite is Catwalk Queen right now at this point. And then we do have this Phlox, and this Phlox is the Southern Blaze Bright Pink, and it's supposed to be really good for heat. And so far it's looking really good. And I will say, when I first planted it, it wasn't blooming at all. And I think because it was too cold. And so now that there's a little bit more heat, it's starting to bloom a lot more, which has been really, really nice. This is Super Petunia Mini Vista Pink Cloud, which is a new Super Petunia for Proven Winners. I am having trouble with this plant this year, you guys. I am having so much trouble keeping it fertilized. If you can see, the foliage tends to turn this pale green, and if you see Super Petunias with pale green foliage, what that means is that it's time to fertilize. And I have these planted in the backyard too, and I'm having the same problem. For some reason, they need way more nutrients than any of my other Super Petunias. Maybe because there's so many blooms on it or something. But let me know if you're having the same problem with these. It's really, really interesting. It's very funny. It's interesting to see that and to see what trouble I'm having compared to other varieties that I'm not having the same trouble with. This is a creeping zinnia sunbeanie. Beautiful, gorgeous. I wish they had different colors of this. Can you imagine this in an orange? Wouldn't that be so beautiful? So really pretty. It seems super happy, and I have a feeling as the summer goes on, it's going to get even happier. This is Super Petunia Vista Pink Cool Jazz, excuse me. This one is looking really good. This is my Blue Star Amsonia. It's fine. It's, you know, it's fine. I'm going to give it more time, right? Because it's a perennial, but it's nothing special, I think. I know the special thing about it is the blue flowers, but the blue flowers have already kind of come and gone. And so now it's just kind of, I don't know. I'm going to give it some time. Let me just say that. But one that I'm loving this year is this Opening Act Ultra Pink Phlox. This one has been in for a year. These two are new, and so far, A+. Very, very, very much liking these. Look at this view. Isn't this just gorgeous? Isn't it looking so good? I need to plant more color right there. That's a really one spot I definitely need to plant some color. But this is the view when you first pull in from the gate. This is like if you're sitting in the passenger side of the car, this is the view you see, and I just think it looks so, so pretty. So coming over here, this area is looking pretty good. This is where I planted the boxwoods and the thujas over here. And then I do have this Super Bina Pink Cashmere River that is filling in. It's not quite filled in yet, but it should fill in pretty quickly. And I'm going to keep fertilizing this a lot so I get a lot of blooms. But the idea is eventually I'll have a river of pink right there. I did want to point out this boxwood because I think last tour I showed you all how this boxwood was suffering a little bit, and it's pretty much almost completely bounced back. It was so funny. Jason was asking me if he could come out and prune the dead off of this boxwood, and I was like, no, don't touch it. Like, I want to leave it. I want to let it recover, and I want to be able to see how it's doing, right, before I prune it and be able to show you guys so you guys can kind of see. It's definitely improved. It's definitely bounced back. I think it's still in recovery mode, but it's looking a lot better. So I have these three boxwoods, and then I have the Pink Cashmere River, and then I do have my dahlias that are coming up, and they're crazy and they're full, and dahlias overwinter for me, so I just left these in the ground. These are the Vibrant Virtuoso dahlias, and I have so many buds on there, and I just think they're so beautiful. They're so gorgeous. I can't wait for those to come. Behind that, I have this Weeping Buddleia right here. I forgot the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. But this like doubled in size in like the past week. It was absolutely crazy. So we're almost to Buddleia season, which to me, I mean, let me know what you guys think. But don't you think it's a little early for Buddleias right now? I just kind of think of her Buddleias like late June-ish, you know, and they're already like almost in full bloom, close to full bloom. Looks like my summerific hibiscus completely got knocked over. And then over here you can see more Buddleia. This is the sparkling, Pugster Amethyst. This one is a beautiful color. If you like Buddleia, I would say go get this color, the Pugster Amethyst. It is just such a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Really, really pretty. And then some of my apricots, I've been eating off of these right here. This apricot tree is one of those monster apricot trees where all four branches are different varieties. So you can see like these are ready to be picked, whereas these over here are not ready. It's a different variety of apricot. We didn't plant this apricot tree. I am sad to say that we had a whole branch right here that got knocked off. We had a branch here, and we had a branch here that I had to cut off. So we did lose two branches of the apricot tree, but I think it's gonna be totally fine. You can see all the fruit from the windstorm. And then over here, I am having a really hard time with this garden bed right here because, oh, the guys are here to fix the fence. Hold on. All right, so the guys are here to fix the fence, thank goodness. I mean, I know it was fine with the goat fence right there, but it's just better to have, you know, two fences for the goats. I have to say, last night, the fence fell yesterday, and last night I was definitely worried, thinking about if the goats were going to come over for a snack this morning. But anyway, I'm going to go over and help them in a second, but I just wanted to show you all this last piece of the garden. This garden bed, I'm having so much trouble with. Not because it's not beautiful, because I actually think this is the most beautiful spot in my garden right now. I am having trouble photographing it. or getting it on video to show you all how beautiful it is. And it's really hard for me to explain because I actually can look out the window and see this, and then every once in a while I'll see this, and as I'm walking by here I'm constantly grabbing my phone and trying to get this garden bed on camera because it is so pretty and so colorful and so gorgeous in real life. And, you know, I need to wait for the smoke bush to get bigger. The Ostromeria look really good, but just the different colors are so incredibly beautiful, and I cannot get it on camera. I don't know how to get it on camera. One of my goals, oh, look at the hummingbird. Right here, right as I'm talking, this is just the prettiest garden bed. These splash mix of colors, rainbow of colors. It's just so beautiful. I was talking to my friend Deb. I have decided I'm going to work on photography. I'm going to figure out how to do like real photography with a real camera and really learn it step by step and really figure out how to do it, because I just have this urge to take photos of garden beds like this that as I'm looking at it in real life, it's so gorgeous and I want to share it with everybody, and I'm just having such a hard time getting it on camera so that I can share it, share the beauty of it. And even right now I can see on my phone, it's not coming across as beautiful as it is in real life. So hopefully I can learn some things from Deb and learn some things from photography, exactly how to get across just how beautiful some things look in the garden. So it's just so gorgeous. So anyway, that is my May front garden tour. I'll follow up. Well, man, hopefully I can get the May back garden tour done tomorrow because the guys are coming tomorrow to install the fountain. So it's been pretty busy around here, and we lost 2 days because of the crazy winds. But I just think it's so funny that my whole plan was to do my May garden tour as basically like bragging about how amazing everything looks. And I do have to say, it looks amazing. I'm so happy with it. My garden, I could not be happier with how good it's looking. But it's just so funny that Mother Nature had to come in and be like, no, you gotta wait. You still have more work to do, which is gardening in a nutshell. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.